Hey, what's going on, everybody, and welcome to Kick Rock's podcast, 2 Drink Minimum. This is episode number 7, and the gang got together and we posed some random questions to each other that the whole group had to answer. So you're going to find out some of Kick Rock's deepest, darkest secrets in this one, or not. Or it just could be some good conversation. Who knows? You be the judge. Sit back, relax, enjoy, and thank you for tuning in.
Get about here.
Extend it towards me.
Then I gotta get closer.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't have as deep
All right,
as you.
here we go. All right.
Welcome to WKCCBY. TCBY Frozen Yogurt presents KXXRT. RT stands for real tight. Let's get started.
Well, we're not editing that out. That's definitely how it starts. So, cheers, gents. That's great.
I thought we were not getting it.
Oh, we didn't do it? We didn't clank? All right. There you go. You got the good clank in. What's going on, everybody? It's 4/5, right, of the Kick Rock crew. 80% of us in the house tonight for you math wizards out there.
16/20.
I'm Bill.
Tony?
Sergio.
JT.
We're missing Joe Muno again. Joe, where are you? We have our theories on that. Maybe we'll get to that later about where Joe really is tonight. We'll see. But tonight we're gonna just we're doing an impromptu podcast. We each of us came up with a random question that we want to propose to the group, and we're all going to answer it to the best of our ability. So we might get a little personal here. We might reveal some things about ourselves that you may know about us, you may not know, you may not want to know. We don't know is the thing. So we're going to get it started, and we're going to, well, I guess I'll start with my question. This isn't, I feel bad. I already want to take it back. It's a very common question. You've probably been asked it before, but here we go. Gentlemen, what is your most embarrassing moment that you can remember, at least, or that you want to share? So I guess whoever asked the question will go first, I guess. So my most embarrassing moment. Holy cow. There's a lot. The one that comes to mind, though, is a time early on in my acting career where I literally choked on stage. There's that saying, don't choke out there. I literally choked on stage in front of a live audience. Was doing a show.
Yeah, like
choked.
Like
literally
air,
choked.
like
I could not breathe.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Literally, not choked like I bombed. I've done plenty of that. We know that. But I've definitely choked on stage. And was doing a show. This is, I forget the name of the theater. It was by Midway Airport, though. So I apologize.
So one of the good ones.
For the name, right? Might have been the Midway Theater, actually, come to think of it, which is funny if it's still around. But anyway, Storefront Theater, great little place, was doing a series of one-act plays. And the one I was in was more of a dark comedy. And there was a bit in which I took a bite of a cookie. And I forget if it was the cookie was too dry or if it tasted bad. But I take a bite of the cookie and I spit it out right away. And it was a physical gag, right? Like, ha ha ha. It was funny when I did it, whatever. I did it hundreds of times in rehearsals, right? And never once had a problem with it. Took a bite of a cookie, spit it out. Took a bite of a cookie, spit it out. No big deal. Well, this particular show is about the middle of our run. We had about a couple-month run of this show. I take a bite of the cookie, and I spit it out, and I must have breathed in or something because a speck of that cookie just came right back in and lodged in the middle of my throat. Nobody else on stage with me saw this. And I have a line right after I spit out the cookie. And I'm looking at the person I have to say the line to, and I open my mouth, and nothing comes out. It's lodged at the perfect spot where I can't even get like a yelp out. And I start gagging on stage, and I'm trying to clear my throat. Nothing's coming out. I'm staring at this guy who's staring back at me like it's your line, dude. And I'm like, I know. I'm trying to look at him like, yeah, I know it's my line. I can't breathe. I know my line. I can't say it. I can't breathe. I'm literally choking, gagging. Finally, which it was probably only 5 to 10 seconds. But if you've ever been live on stage in front of an audience looking at you, waiting for you to talk, that could be a lifetime, right? So I'm there for what seems like 5 minutes, maybe just gagging and choking and coughing. Finally, it comes up, right? And I didn't puke or anything, but whatever it was, dislodged, and it either went down or up. I forget which way it went, but I was able to get the line out. And apparently the other actors on stage later told me my face was turning blue and purple. So I really couldn't breathe. It was really bad. So I literally choked on stage. The stage manager came up to me after the show, and I'll never forget it. She goes, "Are you okay?" This was like an hour later. I go, "Yeah, I'm fine now." She goes, "I shit you not. I was dialing 911, ready to go. I was about to hit send if you were to drop on stage." I was like, "Oh. Well, thank you very much."
To wait for me to lose.
And then, but that didn't make me feel good because then I thought, she's way in the back. If she could see me literally about to die on stage, what did everybody else in the audience think that particular night, right?
That you're
they had
really
to see
good
me,
actor.
right? Yeah, right. He's really committed to that role, right? He's actually joking. This is amazing. I guess. I don't know if it's supposed to be funny or whatever, but yeah, that was, for me, embarrassing. I don't know if the audience actually knew a mistake had been made or if I was really choking, but I knew I was most embarrassed I've ever been on stage, and because it was in front of complete strangers, most embarrassed I've ever been in my life by far. It was literally choking on stage. So that's my story.
Damn.
Whoever wants to go next and
awful.
And maybe theirs is more brutal. I don't know. I hope so, because that hurt talking about it, bringing up old memories. I don't like that at all.
Who wants to go next?
I hate this podcast.
What you guys got?
This was a horrible
still
idea.
thinking?
Yeah, why did you
Horrible
still
idea.
think
Whatever. This is fun.
Yeah, it's impromptu. You guys didn't know. So what's your embarrass off the top of your head?
Honestly, I've been like racking my brain for something.
Tony's like, I've never been embarrassed.
I know I have.
Never embarrassed.
I know I have. I feel like you get to a certain age where you don't give a shit about anything anymore.
No, that's true.
So then it's like trying to think back to like when I was a kid. It's like I know I was embarrassed. I know. Okay, I have something from like
Yeah. Oh,
fifth or
like
sixth
that
grade.
time I farted in fourth grade, or you know what I mean, like
Right.
something like that. No, I got a good one though.
I do got something from 5th or 6th grade. Just popped in my head.
All right.
Do it.
I had a crush on this girl named Carrie. Not going to say her last name.
She's listening.
Yeah, right.
It was Carrie on My Wayward Son.
And you remember in school, they had those little like holiday things where you could like earn points and buy things out of a magazine.
Yeah.
Oh,
And I
yeah.
was like, oh, I'm going to get her this ring. She's going to love this, you know. I hardly ever spoke to the girl. So I ended up getting her this ring, ended up giving it to her. Didn't hear anything back from her. So I was like, I got to step my game up. Now, this is right around the time when The Bodyguard with Whitney Houston and Kevin Costner was out. So I decided to take my sister's Sing-A-Lodeon karaoke machine thing, put a blank cassette in, and sing I Will Always Love You, record it, and give her that cassette tape.
You went full Whitney for
Went
this girl.
full Whitney,
Wow.
gave it to her, still didn't hear back from her about it or anything. She's probably absolutely terrified of me.
Still to this day.
Years later, I ran into her,
She's telling this story to her therapist.
and she brought up the ring. And this is when we're older, like high school probably, and she's like, oh yeah, blah, 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 do you remember that ring you gave me? And she didn't bring up the Whitney thing, and I was like, okay, maybe she never listened to it. You know she did.
Yeah.
But she's like, I gave that ring to my grandmother, and she wears it to bingo all the time. It's her lucky ring. But that's the memory that I have that embarrasses me. The fact that I went ahead and recorded Whitney Houston's I Will Always Love You as a 5th or 6th grader and gave it to this girl.
Oh my God.
Like a complete and total ass.
And what was the
Man,
girl's
back
name?
then.
Carrie.
Carrie, this, I beg of you. I beg of you, if you are listening and you're this Carrie, please tell me you still have that recording. And if you do, please give it to us.
You need to
bad.
digitize it.
Because I need this in my life.
Needs to
all
live
right?
forever.
Find your talk boy.
Oh my gosh, please.
Right, it's sitting in your dock.
Please. And Carrie, I love it. It's Grandma's lucky ring
Grandma
now.
wears at the bingo.
The Scholastic Bowl
Yeah, it's like one of those things.
plastic ring is Grandma's lucky ring. I love it.
So
I ski bud for someone when I was like 20 once, and I didn't even like Alkaline Trio.
What's that? You
I sang
what?
My Friend Peter.
Did you really?
I played guitar. Yeah, I recorded it on my
For a
computer.
girl?
Yeah,
Oh, you little cutie.
I know, right?
There you go. Do you want to go then?
Yeah, I got okay. This is
That wasn't your embarrassing moment?
No.
Oh, man. All right.
no. She liked it. She made fun of me, but she liked it. And like, okay, so no, mine involved punk rock. Guess what? No, but it's like it was a Warped Tour 2000. I was 18, and by the way, for you youngins listening, Warped Tour used to be cool. I'm just saying, before the screamo bands and stuff, it was okay to go to.
So true.
But no, it was AFI played, and I liked them for a long time since like high school and stuff. So like this was right after high school. So I saw them on a stage with a couple people. Like wasn't that big. This was like for the Black Sails and the Sunset era, you know, when they were still touring for that. And I loved AFI. They're so fucking cool. Davey Havoc was like, you know, dressed like a mini Danzig with like leather pants and fucking, you know, crazy hair in front of his face, like Misfits Devil Lock and shit. I was like, this dude's cool, yeah, fuck yeah, AFI, you know. So I see him like, moshing and all that stuff, and I'm in like, because I was an asshole 18-year-old who was like, oh, it's 100 degrees out, I should wear bondage pants to show everybody how punk I am, you know. Like I fucking was sweating to death because it was like, goddamn, it was just so hot. And like I just started walking around like during Green Day set or something. I was about to pass out, so I just kept walking around. And then I just like moving around like by myself. Like I just push past people. I get to like near the merch or whatever. Davey Havoc of AFI, the singer of AFI, walks up to me. He's really short, by the way. He's like...
He always looks so tall on stage. Is he really short?
Yeah, because I've been like 6'0" since like forever. So like I've been this height forever. And so he was, I don't know, he wasn't even like in my head or whatever. So like, but I just see him and I'm like a huge AFI fan at that point. I'm like, oh, hey, what's up, man? It was an awesome set, you know. And I shook his hand. And he's like, yeah, thanks, man. You know, in his like weirdly effeminate voice.
Yeah.
And I'm just like,
thank you, JT.
yeah, he's just like, oh, thanks, hi, you know. Yeah. No, but like, and then I didn't know what to say next, so I just randomly went, I love you. And he's like, you could see him choking back some laughter, and he's like, all right, man, thanks, all right, take care, you know. And he kept walking, and as I was walking away, I was like, Chris Farley on Saturday Night Live, like at the Chris Farley show, I was like, freaking idiot, you know.
Yeah. Oh, that's the worst.
It's hilarious,
Oh, no.
though. But it was just
awesome.
like, this was the beats. It was like, hey man, no, it was an awesome set. Oh, thanks, man. I love you.
Yeah. It's like, what do you do though? It's you're face to face with like one of your like idols
know.
at the time, you know, and like, what do you do?
I met other famous
Can you
people.
can
and
fanboy out?
I wasn't
you know?
that choky up with them.
Yeah.
I don't know. There was just
You fanboy
something about
out.
that moment.
Yeah.
Heat exhaust and all that.
Yeah, you got a lot going on.
That's awesome. Soij.
All right. There's a lot of embarrassing things in my life.
No kidding.
So I think I'm just gonna go with like as an adult one instead of like as a kid one. But in general, in my career, I work in advertising, so I have to do a lot of presentations and standing in front of like clients and just random people that you don't know and like present your ideas. Well, I remember early on in my career, I want to say this was probably like the second or third time I had to go on a presentation and pitch one of my concepts that I had wrote copy for. And there's nothing worse than standing up in front of a group of people and then like you just see, as I'm telling the concept and going over the copy, like all these blank faces just staring at you and just like they like it's like I can't tell if they don't like it or if they just don't get it or if they just hate me as a person. I'm like, and this is like literally like probably like within my first 2 years of like out of college. And it was a big client and I was nervous to begin with and I'm trying to pitch this idea, and at the end of the presentation the client it was a guy, and I don't even remember his name. I don't even want to say what the client is. I just remember him pushing. And this is back in the day, like early 2000, where we actually did mock-ups and like had things on poster boards. He actually pushed this poster board forward and said, like, what is this that you're showing me? Because it's the worst idea I ever had.
He was just brutally honest in front of everybody with you. Holy
in front of
shit!
everybody. I've got the art director that I worked with. I got the creative director that I worked with there.
Shark Tank
And I just like,
Right?
there's nothing worse than being in a situation where it's like, I had nothing to say. I probably turned beet red. I was probably sweating. I probably stuttered during the presentation to begin with. And then he pretty much just said, like, this is the worst idea I've ever seen.
Wow.
And then I basically just stood there and, like, sat down, and my creative director had to jump in and, like, talk through, like, oh, well, what aren't you liking? What aren't you not liking? And blah, blah, blah. And, like,
Was this one of your like first pitches
yeah,
ever?
this was early on. Where like, oh, we're gonna trust Sergio to go and like help, and like pitch some ideas. But
Because I feel like today you would have been like, really?
Oh,
well,
yeah.
what didn't you like about it?
exactly.
Exactly. What didn't you like about it? Yeah.
And to be honest,
totally
like,
would have made him.
and you learn-
would have made him defend it now. Yeah.
You learn that stuff as you. Anyone who works in or is trying to get into advertising or works in advertising, you learn that like there are key things that like clients will say that it's like. You shouldn't take offense to it, and you should like actually try and like make it a conversation to find out what is not working. But like a young 23-year-old Sergio just froze, turned beet red, sweated, and just stood there as I didn't know what to do.
In young 23-year-old Sergio's defense, was this guy a dick?
Yeah, he was known.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
So he was an asshole.
Yeah.
And
We
then-
we won't give his name. Was it
No.
was it John, Sam,
no,
Jim?
no.
Tell me when we come close. Bob.
Samuel
Honestly, it's been so
Rich
long ago. I don't even
Smithersworth.
remember. I don't
Seth?
even remember
Was
his
it
name.
Seth?
I don't even remember. His
Probably
name.
Seth,
It's been so
right?
long.
Okay,
So.
all right.
But it's just one of those. And whether it's like performing or doing a presentation or something, there's nothing worse than standing in front of a sea of blank faces.
I was gonna say when you were saying that, all that I flashed back to was, and Tony, you could probably relate, was at an audition where I'm looking out and there's a couple people just not even smiling but just nodding.
Yeah.
And then you go, oh yeah, well I didn't get this role, did I? Well, see you later. Yeah, just walk out. That's all you can do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like I wasn't right for this part at all. Okay, cool.
You didn't say synergy enough.
I know.
Yeah, right.
I should have.
That's awesome.
And like the reality is, like looking back, I probably built it up more in my head of how bad it was. You know what I mean? Or
Yeah.
it's just like, to me, it was the end of the world, but. In reality, the project was saved, and the client, our creative director, like got us back on track like almost immediately. But it's like,
I just love that we here, I think I can speak for all three of us here, and Joe included, we've all met you after that version of Sergio existed, because now, completely different. Like, I could see you in that room just... You make that guy sit back down and be like, no, you're wrong.
You learn.
And here's why.
Yeah.
And you have another PowerPoint backed up to show him why he's wrong.
Yeah.
Like, that's great.
I thought you
I
might
love
say
it.
that. So.
Yeah, exactly. You'd be so prepared now, which is awesome.
But yeah,
that's great. You've grown.
Yeah,
Good for you.
Exactly.
All right.
All right.
Well, we've all been embarrassed. Who's going next? What's the next question here?
What is your guys' favorite state to visit and why?
Favorite state?
State.
Oh,
And
that's
why?
good.
State is in the United States.
Yes.
Or state of
I was
mind.
gonna say, I was gonna say
State of
state or
mind.
country, but I was like, let's go with state. 'Cause I'm genuinely curious.
All right.
We've all kind of been all over. JT, you travel a lot.
Yeah, that's a good question.
I don't.
You go first.
You'll probably bring up baseball.
Like 35
fields,
states or something.
I won't. I'll go first. I haven't been to nearly as many as you guys, but I've been around a bit. But I would say, honestly, I was thinking about this as I was writing the question down, and Pennsylvania. And it's probably because I've got family there and family vacations there. But when I was thinking about it, I want to say it's like the one place, at the end of a vacation where it's like the last day and you're like, I'm ready to go home. Like, I'm ready to go back to my house. I'm ready to go back to my bed.
Yeah.
I genuinely think that like every trip that I've had there, I wasn't ready to go home, and I could have stayed like another weekend or another few days or another week or something
That's
like
awesome.
that. So it's a lot of family out there. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of just drinking, grilling, pig roasts, beanbags, tattoos, just fun. So it's like it's a good time out there. So I'd say that is probably my favorite state to visit because I'm never ready to go home. It's all family and good times, and yeah, that's probably it. So I'd say Pennsylvania or West Virginia, depending on what part of my family. They're all right on the border there. So it's like, I'd say that's probably my favorite state to visit.
Pennsylvania has a lot of trees.
Man, do they ever. Trees
There's a
and
lot
mountains
of
that you didn't know were
trees in
there.
Pennsylvania. I've driven through Pennsylvania
Oh, yeah.
a whole lot. Because you drive around the mountains and it's just like, it's crazy,
Yeah,
the
it's
landscape,
beautiful.
you know?
And the
like,
and the streets are crazy there. Like if you get off the expressways there, it's like through like these hilly ass mountains where my family's at. They're in a little town called Point Marion. The streets are no wider than like a golf cart path.
Yeah.
And that's for two vehicles to like pass each other with all these blind spots and weirdness. It's pretty crazy. Yeah. So I'd say, I really like Pennsylvania.
Very awesome.
So who's going next? Sergio, favorite state?
On the spot.
Hands down, Colorado.
Colorado's dope.
For all who know me, one of my favorite passions, particularly in the wintertime, is
weed.
snowboarding.
Oh, yeah, no.
Yeah. that's-
Snowboarding.
Yeah.
And I would love to say that I've been to several locations in the United States to go snowboarding, but Colorado has been the main one that I've gone to throughout my life because in my younger days when I couldn't afford to fly, like me and my friend Steve, we would drive the 16, 17-hour drive to Breckenridge, not Del Bosch,
Oh,
Clanahan.
damn it. All right.
And for me, like that, like just being on a mountain, like I don't know if anyone's ever experienced like being on the top of a mountain. It's like one of the best feelings in the world to just like walk out and like come off the lift and like just go to the highest point and just look out of like snow-capped mountain after snow-capped mountain after snow-capped mountain and just enjoy like all this fresh air and beautiful nature and everything. It's just like it's extremely like peaceful and humbling. And what solidified this answer 100% was about 2 years ago. I drove from California to Chicago, driving my sister back to Chicago for a visit. And in our travels, we drove through Colorado, and it was the first time that I was going from like the west to the east through like the west part of Colorado, and I found that to be even more spectacular than the east part of Colorado because the east part of Colorado is really flat and boring until you get to Denver.
Oh, yeah.
But like the east part of Colorado is like amazingly beautiful, and like you have all of these like valleys within these mountains that have these amazing picturesque everything you would think like a mountain town would be, and you're driving through it and you see like the downtown Main Street with a chapel and then the high school with a football field and everything's just bright green.
So
and
like
it was
a general store that
yeah,
just
and
has
it's just
that.
it's like amazingly beautiful, something you would like. It almost feels like it's not real as you're driving through it. And I'm just like,
so
yeah.
much North Face and white people. Jesus Christ. Just everywhere.
Yes, that is true. But like, other than North Face and white people, the geographical landmarks are just amazing. So yeah, I'd have to say Colorado is probably my favorite state.
Are you saying my Caucasian wife who wears a lot of North Face, you're not a fan of her? Is that what you're getting at?
Basically, yes.
No judgments. No judgments. You just ask states, not people.
I like Colorado, specifically Denver, because that's the only place I've really spent time in. Besides, there's a little town called Byers where they had the first riot. So I spent a couple of weeks there, and then it's been Denver the years after that. But like, I really enjoyed Denver. I've never snowboarded there, but like, everybody was cool there. It's a good town. I feel like the reason why everyone was so laid back and relaxed is because a lot of people are stoned there because recreational. But like, everybody was cool, man. It was just a good time.
I've never-
good food.
As it should be everywhere. We're not getting political. We're not getting political.
I've actually never partied in, or I've never hung out in Denver before. I've always driven through or like stayed a night in a hotel as I'm like on my way to like a resort.
They had like a pretty good bar scene, like they're like downtown strip area. Yeah, we had a good time there.
It's like a better Minneapolis.
Wow, that's awesome.
Denver, a better Minneapolis. I like that tagline.
Denver, that is good. All right,
Minneapolis, not quite.
not quite Denver.
Minneapolis is good. It's nice. It's Denver's better.
Yeah, it's good.
They do it better.
All right, here's my favorite one, Illinois. You guys are all traitors. No, no. I'm going to lose my Chicago card probably for this, if there is such a thing.
Go ahead. Chicago sucks.
Indiana.
Oh, I can't wait for JT's. But mine is going to be Wisconsin. If you would have talked to me 5 years ago, I probably would have said differently. But, yeah, Wisconsin. I've had too many good times in a couple different cities there. Kenosha, which is right across the border. A friend of mine went to college in Carthage there. Great college town, fun. Milwaukee, I've been to a couple times. Really fun town. Love it. Water Street in particular is awesome. So I can't complain about that. But what solidifies it is there's this little place, there's this hunting lodge, this is why it's weird for me because I'm not a big outdoorsy type, if you know me. If I'm lost in the woods, I'm not going to hunt. I'm probably going to try to order a pizza first, before I try hunting or anything. But I love this place because it's called the Buccaneers. It's an old hotel that got turned into a hunting lodge, and friends of my wife's family. I'll give them a shout out, the McAuliffes. They have friends up there every year. Every member of that hunting club gets like a weekend or so.
Oh, timeshare.
Yeah,
So they got
kind of like
so they
that,
got roped
right?
in.
So it's like a hunting lodge. They get roped in, but it's an amazing timeshare, right? And you got to be a member of the club to have a weekend, and they get it, and they, invite their friends up every year. And I've been fortunate enough to go for the last, I think, 4 or 5 years, and I love it there. It is, it's awesome. It's totally like I don't, not a big gun guy. Not a big hunting guy. It's definitely a place that's built for that. But it's also a wide open space. It's very quiet. I could take my dog, Rogue, up there, and he loves it up there because there's no fences.
Right.
He can just
Bump out and go.
run, and he's a lab, so he loves running and playing fetch. And it's way different from our backyard in Chicago where he can't really run that much. So here he just goes, which is great. He has a great time there. And this is the place where I was at a couple podcasts ago. I talked about seeing the Indiana Jones.
Oh, yeah.
Raiders of the Lost Ark VHS. They have that really old TV in the living room there. That's where I was. I was at the Buccaneers. And it's become one of my favorite places to go every year. I look forward to this trip. It's always like October, November, sometime in the fall we go. And it's great, nice, quiet, good food, good drinks, good company, good laughs. It's everything I want in a nice weekend out of town. For that reason, if I have to choose the states, Wisconsin's been. I've been to a couple different cities and always had a good time there. So
Nice.
And great cheese and great beer. What they're known for? They're known for a reason. You got to give it up. They do it right.
They do cheese and beer well.
I've tailgated at a Brewers game before. Whew.
Oh yeah, they know how to tailgate. Holy,
They know how to do it there. It's awesome.
like as far as your eye can see, like you
Yeah.
see to the horizon,
Yep.
people are still tailgating.
Yep.
awesome.
At Miller Park,
Do
beautiful.
they shag people out when the game starts, or does it just stay all
No,
day?
you can stay there if you want to.
Awesome.
There's just giant tents. It's
And you march to the field. Their parking lot's that huge, where you got to walk quite a ways to get, to Miller Park.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And it's a beautiful ball field. You know,
Very similar to Arizona.
Yeah. And well, from what I hear, I've never been there. But
I've been both. Yeah.
The layout, you mean?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And it's a great time anywhere you go. So I will say Wisconsin is my
I
answer.
like Wisconsin.
Yeah.
It's a good place.
The Great White North. If you live in Illinois, I guess.
It's not
Wisconsin's
quite-
the Great White North.
but
If you're in Chicago,
we go snowmobiling with Jess's dad every year up to the Northwoods, Minocqua. So we go way north, but it's a good time, man. Beautiful up there. That's why I like Wisconsin, not because I'm a fucking trader.
I have no problem being a Chicago trader. I only like it half the year. It's a warm half.
And then, fuck it.
The part we're in right now, no.
So what's your state, JT?
Yeah, JT.
Well, like I lived in California for a bit. I would do that again. I would live there, no doubt. And vacations, fun to go to Vegas and stuff like that. But all these years, I got to stick with Southwest Michigan.
Oh yeah, you go up to the
I just
chalet.
love it. Yeah, the chalet in the lake in
Yeah.
Stevensville, Michigan.
I don't blame you for that.
Exit 22 off
You
94.
always seem really happy when you go there and
Oh,
really
yeah.
relaxed when you come back.
Yeah, that place in South Haven I grew up going to. Like my mom's side of the family in Stevensville, and my dad's side in South Haven. And there's just tons of little towns around there too, like St. Joe's and
That's
whatever.
cool.
And it's just like there's nothing particularly special about it, but it is all. Most of those places are right on the beach, you know, like right on the Lake Michigan and
Sure.
stuff, on the other side of it from where we are. And if you go to Evanston, like it's like directly east, like that's where all that stuff is. Like the chalets are probably like right across from that. But like, whatchamacallit, I just love it there because it's just a whole bunch of A-frame cottages, and South Haven's like a harbor town. You can get drunk on boats there, you know, like boat bars and stuff. And they have like a drink called the shit, South Haven iced tea. That's an acronym.
That's interesting.
South Haven iced tea, and it's a Long Island iced tea, but I don't know, they put something in there that kills you. But I love doing stupid antique shopping and just, I don't know, all this stuff. It's just really fun. And when I'm in that part of the state in the summer and stuff like that, it just reminds me of either being a kid or even just being an adult, not thinking about being a kid. It just reminds me of all the things I love about it, which is just everybody leave me the hell alone.
Well,
Like, let me sit here with my video games and my artwork and my walking around and my seeing movies cheap, you know, like,
yeah.
I just love it.
And
It's awesome.
I will agree with you 100%. Like that's a part of the lake that I didn't really know until an adult. Like,
Yeah.
as growing up, like, yeah, my parents took me to the dunes every once in a while, and that was cool. But I never had any friends or
Like the
anybody
Warren
would have-
Dunes or the Indiana Dunes? Or?
Indiana Dunes.
Yeah.
So I didn't, but it wasn't until I had a close friend who he passed away, Mike Donegan. His parents had a cottage right on the lake, but it was in Michigan City.
Yeah.
So those like that was like later in my years, like probably like I think I was like literally 20 years old or 21 when I first went up there. But it was like going there, like it's just so beautiful, and there's so many like small towns that just like follow the coast of Lake Michigan, like Michigan City, New Buffalo, New Haven, like all of that stuff.
Michigan
Like,
City's
yeah.
got a great outlet mall.
Yeah. But it's like I feel like a lot of people don't realize, at least people who aren't from the Midwest don't realize how amazing the like Lake Michigan's lakefront is, particularly in the Michigan side, because you get that amazing sunset, like off the water, right on the sand.
You know what's
every
funny is
day.
so many Beverly, Oakland, EP, Mount Greenwood types, like Southside people, like they know that area.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh,
like I've talked to
yeah.
other people that always
If
talk
I talk
about
to
it. I'm like,
anyone else,
oh, it's
like-
not just my family that knows this secret.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like they all go there. It's almost like Jamaica for the working class.
But I feel like
Chicagoan.
ask any Northsider, and they're just kind of clueless.
Yeah, they don't get it.
Dude, I
Because
mean,
most
like,
of them are transients, and they're just like, oh no, we're gonna go somewhere like
Right.
warm and whatever. But it's like no, like Michigan lakefront is pretty phenomenal.
Oh God! Even in the winter, it's awesome.
yeah, from
Wow.
personal experience, I mean, chalet on the lake
Yeah.
is So many good memories from that place. It's
Yeah,
awesome.
for those
It's
who
a
don't-
great getaway. Hour and a half, 2 hour drives max.
Yeah, it's a great place.
You're out of
My dad-
Dodge.
My
It's
dad put it
awesome.
perfectly. It's a great place for young families. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
if you're 40 and you've got 10-year-olds, then it's like,
Yeah.
that place is just great because it's got parks, it's got pools, it's
Yep.
little A-frame cottages.
Something for everybody.
Yeah, right.
And
on
then
the
when you're
beach.
older, you can appreciate just
Four
the
Winds
quiet.
Four Winds Casino.
Yeah, that too. And that,
That
too. The Four Winds Casino. JT, you're up, man. What do you got?
I'm supposed to ask a question. What's if you could? It's just one of my. I always do lunch question of the day on Facebook, and it gets into comment wars and stuff. It's always fun. This was
sure.
one of them, and because I've thought of too many of these damn things. What if you could live in a fictional universe? What universe would it be? So that means like, oh, I want to be in the Jurassic Park universe. I want to be in the Marvel universe. I want to, you know what I mean?
Does it have to be a
Stuff like
universe
that.
that has been like it exists in regards to comic books, movies, whatever, or can it be like a universe in my mind?
It's got to be an established fictional
Okay.
universe.
Well, thank you for clarifying.
Unless you've got a really good answer for your own. I don't.
You don't know what's going on in my mind, JT.
I kind of don't want to. My answer, since we have to answer one question, is I would go for Star Trek. Always. It's so geeky, but love it. There's something about it, like just the Navy in space or whatever, you know? Co-ed Navy in space. I gotta add that because, yeah. But like, no, it's just. I like just the idea of like Starfleet and those, you know, it just seems so fun to be in that world, you know, where it's like a lot of people might say Star Wars or whatever. It's like, yeah, I'll have a lightsaber and a ship and all that stuff. You ain't gonna die in 5 seconds. But like Star Trek, it'll be fun. Like you get your own room, you get like a whole ship to mess around with, depending on what era you're going for. You get the holodeck, you get replicator food. You know, it's like, I want a taco. Okay, here's some taco made out of molecules or whatever. Money is different. You don't really
For
care
the
about-
tacos alone.
you don't really care about paychecks that much, so it's
Yeah.
all about like they never explain how economics work because if they did explain it, then somebody would take it apart, you know. But like they're always like economics work very different here in the future, and it's just like how do they work? And it's like, well, we can't tell you. But I don't know. It's like strange new worlds, strange new civilizations, whatever. Just like warp speed ahead, and then of course there's like dangerous moments and stuff, like some away missions where you get shot at or whatever. But like for the most part, I don't know, it seems fun. It would be fun to be, as long as you don't have a red shirt, it would be fun to be on Star Trek. And even if you did have a red shirt, you might be the guy who dies like, you know, probably in like 7 years or something.
I'm gonna plead my ignorance here. What red shirt?
You know,
Why are you
red
saying
shirt. All right, so there's like characters. There's a
wow.
class. There's a class of characters.
All right, let's put it this way. Hold on.
class.
Sergio,
There's a
in Kid Rock
class.
terms, you're the red shirt, okay? I'm kidding.
Have you never?
You're definitely Bones, but
Have you also
that'll
never
make sense
seen
to
the
you.
hamster dance and a couple other things that have been popular in the internet?
Explain red shirts, please.
No, yeah. So it's a class of starship, whatever people, the Starfleet. That's what the word's looking for. Named ensigns. You know, they're like the pawns in the chessboard. They're one of the lowest classes of officer, and they all would wear red shirts. Like red shirts are kind of like security or something. You know, I'm probably getting this wrong because I'm not the biggest Trekker, but like. It's like the yellow ones are more important. The blue ones are science officers, I think, or medical personnel or something. And the red ones are kind of like lower on the tier. So anyway, in most of the old Star Trek episodes and movies and stuff, it's like Captain Kirk and Spock and Dr. McCoy would go on a away mission, and they'd take 2 red shirts with
Ensign
them.
Smith.
Yeah, Ensign Smith and Ensign Johnson, and those were the dudes that were going to get killed.
Yeah, right.
That's who the genetic mutant plant would eat, or somebody would just take a laser to the face or whatever. That's
That was like when Bill's blog that he did for Game of Thrones, when he talked about when they'd go on battles. Was the second to last episode?
I did reference red
Where
shirts.
he's
Yeah,
like-
where they went
And they go
beyond
beyond the wall
Yeah.
with so and so, and 4 red shirts.
Yep.
Because that was the reference
And
that
sure
these
enough-
guys were definitely going to die.
And sure enough, they all did.
All the red
The
shirts
nameless other warriors with them died
Right.
away. Yeah.
So I got so many emotions right now. One, like I feel embarrassed to reference what you talk about. I'm really embarrassed right now that I didn't know that reference. And then
that's the age we live in. You're embarrassed to not know a Star Trek reference.
And then
that's
and
how
then
much
at
the
same
geeks have
time-
taken over.
Yeah, and at the same time, I'm like, I was just about to make that point of wow, you guys are some really fucking nerds for knowing that shit and quoting all like, no, you don't know the Star Trek knowledge and blah, 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 blah. So yeah, I was like fighting dual emotions right now. Should I be offended or not? I guess that's the big question.
I'm a half tracker. I can't speak nothing, but I like the movies, but
But yeah, I mean, I hated the TV shows, but I love J.J. Abrams' Star Trek, and I think they're phenomenal.
Watch the old
movies
ones,
are
man.
really good.
Watch some of the old ones. They're good too.
Yeah, true.
Really? I was more of a Star Wars.
Not the shows, the
guy.
movies.
JT, you told me to watch one or two of them for sure. You said that they were
Oh, yeah.
really good. I never watched any of the old
2, 3,
movies.
4, 6.
I saw one where did they teleport a whale in one of them?
Yeah, that was 4.
I thought it was 5. I don't know. It was the one where they end up in like
Manhattan?
present.
Yeah,
That's
like
New
United
York.
States, right?
A lot of people know that's kind of like the pop culture Star Trek movie. You know?
I see. I saw
People know
scenes from that, but I've never watched a whole Star Trek movie except for the new ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I never watched the show either.
2, 3,
but-
4, 6 are amazing movies,
Yeah.
especially 2.
All right.
Good to know.
That's Wrath of Khan, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
Wrath
yes.
of Khan is amazing. Amazing. All right, I'll go. So I'll answer your question. Favorite, or what universe would you live in?
Yeah, what fictional world?
And you talk about Sergio feeling like a nerd. I'm going to feel like the biggest nerd here ever.
Can't get worse than Star Trek.
I don't know. I'm going with the video game universe.
Oh, snap.
This is bad. Even though there have, I guess, been several offshoots of it, but I'm going to go with the Final Fantasy universe.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Big shout out to Dick Stokes.
It's my favorite, definitely by far my favorite series of video games ever. So and they're all different from one another, but they all share the same kind of themes and tropes, if you will. So for a role playing game, I've always I'm a sucker for anything that has to do with magic and dragons and stuff like that, which is probably why I love Game of Thrones so much. I would love to live in a world, I guess, where magic was a thing and it was real, and there was mages and knights and thieves and villains and stuff like
You just
that.
want to walk around and get in random
I
battles.
kind of do, and I kind of want to level up.
We can go to Richard's Bar down the street.
Every time I had a birthday, I would love that to be instead of oh no, I'm older, I would love to be oh, I leveled up, I learned a new skill.
Is
but that doesn't
equivalent to
happen.
you getting XP points?
Yeah,
Because I don't know what that means.
would
What
get
I just said. But
experience
it's
points.
not, is that
Experience
what it
points.
is?
Yeah. You got it. You got it. You're a fan. Don't hide it.
I'm just listening
But,
to your dick talk. I don't know what it is.
I know. But we're gonna do a separate video game podcast eventually, and I'm sure I'm gonna nerd out hardcore about several video games. But one of them's got to be Final Fantasy.
XP is an emoticon where you're squinting your eyes and sticking your tongue out.
Yeah. So I guess it's a dream of mine to be a wizard. Apparently, I'd just love to be able to manipulate things and know magic. So anyway. Who's up next? That's all I gotta say. No one else has anything to add because you're so lost in everything I'm saying right now, and I get it. That's fine.
I'm not.
That's
I play
fine.
Final Fantasy, man.
All right.
Well, my main question for you in regards to Final
Fire Aga.
Fantasy was going to be were you have you been playing that game since its infancy? Because that's one thing that I've always been shocked about. I've never been a big gamer, but then I look at the early Final Fantasies. That's early 90s that started. Was it early
First
80s?
one came out in the
Nintendo?
80s. First one came
Yeah,
out in the 80s.
Nintendo.
And that's impressive.
Yeah.
That game has been around. So when
Didn't
did
it
you
change?
get? When did you get into it?
I am very impressive.
Because I didn't know about that until early 2000s.
So the answer to your question is yes and no, because each installment in the series, Final Fantasy 1, 2, 3, 4, so on, is a different game in and of itself. So even though the series has the same title, it's a different world, usually, different characters.
Like an anthology series.
Different lore, right. So, I've played all of them as they've come out, but yeah.
So which one specifically? 7, 8, 9, 10?
That have
12?
played the most?
That you would be in. I'm going with 10 because fuck yeah, Lulu.
I feel like 10 was the one. 10 was the one. What was that? Like early 2000s?
PlayStation
Yeah,
2.
2002.
Wait, wasn't
Yeah.
7 the big one?
That was the one that
Was.
got a lot of
That brought
people
it
into
back.
it. Yeah.
And that's
Right.
I feel
my
like that's when I like started hearing about it. It was like around like 9 or 10.
that's my favorite is 7 because it was kind of a steampunk magic type feel to it, and we can get into all those nuances later. But that's my favorite of the series thus far. If I had to live in a world, though, I mean, as far as like medieval and magic and stuff, probably 9. 9 has that
dope. I
old.
love 9.
9 has that old like, Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones type feel to it.
People with monkey tails and stuff.
Right, it's weird. It's weird. It's good. It's fantastical, as the name would imply. So yeah, I guess if I had to pick one in the series, that would probably be it. But it's between 7 and 9. It's a close call for me. Those are my favorite ones of the series, though. So yeah, I've been playing that game since I got into RPGs, which is when I was really young, and that was one of the first ones I got into. Not the first one. I got into RPGs with later systems like Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis, and then I kind of backtracked and got into the Nintendo ones.
Chrono Trigger was my first RPG.
Yeah, that's a great one. All right, we clearly have to have a video game podcast
That's true.
now. Maybe a few of them. One could just be RPGs probably, but yeah, my pick for if I could live in a universe, it would definitely be a Final Fantasy universe where
This is why I would not participate in that that podcast. What does RPG stand for?
role-playing game.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. I'm living my own
So
role-playing
when
game
people
right
say
now.
RPG games, they role playing games. It's
Role-playing
like
game
DC
is
Comics,
sure.
Detective Comics.
Comics, yeah. So yeah, that's my nerdy answer, but it's definitely true. I would totally have. I'd be a wizard if I could. So there you go.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I don't know what my answer would be, but I've been thinking about Guardians of the Galaxy for the last 5 minutes, trying to think of
Beautiful.
something. So
Marvel.
I'm gonna go with that because.
The Marvel Cinematic.
So the Marvelverse.
I guess that's the correct term to
Sure.
use, but like, I think it's basically just because I want to be Star-Lord. Like, why wouldn't I want to live in a universe where I could like kill bad guys, save good guys, listen to a badass soundtrack the whole time, and have fun doing
You know what,
it?
Tony? Can
Yeah,
I be honest
that's
with you
hard
right
to
now? If we lived in a world where Chris Pratt did not exist, you would be Star-Lord.
It feels right.
I was feels right. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. From the bottom of my heart.
I was looking through my old drawings recently. I found that picture
Dude,
of you as Star-Lord.
When I was looking for the picture of me punching the panda that you drew, I found that one first, and I was like, "Oh, I love that
Like,
picture
dude,
too."
hold on. Here it is right now because Chris Pratt obviously is listening to this
Yeah, of
podcast
course.
right now.
Obviously.
And Chris, if you're listening, Tony Marino
Watch out!
is on your heels. Watch out.
Coming, man.
You better stay on your game because he's right behind you.
I'd probably do that. Like any universe, and it's the whole Marvel verse I got. And there's a lot of cool things, and there's a lot of crazy things happening too. But if there's a rocket,
You are Star-Lord.
If there's a rocket and a Groot,
Yeah,
who
that's
doesn't want to
you.
be there? You know what I mean? Like, yeah. So that's what I'm gonna go with.
Totally fits.
Technically, I guess it's the Marvel verse.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's where I would want to.
The space section of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yes.
There we go.
Thank you.
Guardians of the Galaxy, one of the few movies that's better than the comic.
Yeah, movies.
I don't read a lot of comics. I was
Yeah.
never a big. I
It is.
was always a movie.
I tried to get into Guardians, and I mean like the newer iterations, they added rocket ones and stuff, and they're just the movie's way better.
Yeah, movies are awesome. They've been
Just knowing Tony though, like that you are Star-Lord though. If you had to pick a hero that you most like, without a doubt.
Oh God, Bill, I feel great right now. Keep
I
it
know.
up. Yeah.
I'm just totally.
Oh, I'm letting you.
We'll explain that later. Sergio, universe.
I don't know. Like, I guess I don't know the true definition of like saying that I'm part of like what a universe is.
World,
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but a better way for me to phrase this. I don't know if what I'm about to say can be considered a universe, but I'm going to say it anyways because I love this trilogy. If there was any like trilogy movie that I could be a part of, it would have to be Back to the Future. hands down my favorite like movie growing up as a little kid. Like my parents probably hated me because there was probably a good year and a half where every day I would just watch Back to the Future, and it was when Back to the Future 2 and 3 were coming out. Because side story, it was the first time I had ever gone to California. My parents planned a trip, and when we were in California in LA, we went to Universal Studios tour. And while we were touring, they were I had already seen Back to the Future and I loved it, and they were actually filming Back to the Future 2 and 3, and they talked about it like, oh, because I was on the stupid tour, and they're like, oh, they're doing it consecutively. We're gonna drive by the set, and we like the tour thing went by the set of like the downtown, and it was set up as the future
Nice.
downtown set. And like,
How have we never talked about this before?
Wait. Which is and where we're at now, which is now in the past.
Yes.
So it was a 2015 set.
Yes, it was a 2015 set, now in the past.
Yeah.
And I just remember, like, it basically for me made that movie go from, like, my favorite to, like, there's never going to be anything that beats that.
That's
like,
Savage in so many movies.
Yeah.
That was the town in Gremlins also.
Yeah, that's
Kingston
right.
Falls,
That's right.
yeah.
That's right. And
That's
so
such a
like,
great
so if there was ever a universe I would love to be a part of, it would be like, how can I get myself into this Back to the Future universe?
Yeah, but
the funny, go
But
ahead.
which one? Like which timeline?
Honestly,
You had to pick one of the
first one. The first one's got my heart.
Technically
And I
four
would
though.
like,
Which
Yeah.
timeline? I'm curious. Present
In
of
the-
the first, past of the first.
November 5th, 1955. It would have to be that because
So, like,
That's awesome.
What's funny is your car almost resembles a DeLorean. It's just pretty darn close to a DeLorean right
It's the
now.
closest out of all of
It's
ours.
pretty close.
You have the most DeLorean-esque car
Pretty
out
close.
of all
Like,
of
it's
us.
silver.
No, because it takes Banana and High Life to gas it up.
That's
Sergio's messed with our timelines so much, and we don't even know. That actually does too.
We did this podcast 5 times before, but he's just not telling us.
Yeah, I'm like,
All right.
I wasn't happy with the first 4, so I'm like, let's go back in time and reshoot this so I can have better answers.
But hold on, Sergio, better time travel movie, Bill and Ted or Back to the Future?
Back to the Future. I'll answer
Back to the Future 100%. I am a huge fan. I actually remember dragging 2 of my best friends
It's
to the
tough.
theater to see Bogus Journey,
Yeah.
and they both hated me for making them experience that. Well, I love
Bogus Journey's hilarious.
Oh yeah, for me it was hilarious, but my 2 friends were not. They did not appreciate the fact that we like drove all the way. We had our parents drive us all the way to Orland Square Mall to watch that movie. They were pretty pissed off because like those.
Wait, Bogus is the sequel, right?
Yeah.
And that's the one with the messed
Bogus
up
is
bunny
the sequel.
rabbit and
Yes.
the nightmare.
Yeah, and
Okay.
Death.
Death.
Yeah.
And they're falling. They're like the whole.
Both are
thing,
good.
they're
Here's the
falling
thing.
down street.
Dude.
Excellent Adventure and Bogus Journey, great. I also love all 3 Back to the Futures. I think very.
I love all
entertaining.
3.
All
Yeah, so
3.
bring it back. Yeah. Oh, I love all 3 Back to the Future.
I like 3 better than 2.
Thank you. Okay, I was just
That
going
is
to bring
my
that
favorite
up.
trilogy. Yes, and it's like they like in 3 they had the.
Love 2 so much. And
And
it's like,
hate
no.
3.
It
I don't
goes
get it.
Because of
1, 3,
hoverboards.
2.
It's the only reason.
That's it. And it's not the better movie.
No,
it's
it's not.
It's 1, 3, 2. 3 is great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's great. And everyone harps on it.
But
Instead of hoverboard.
But
Fuck
a
you.
lot of what happens in 3 is set up and we need to have a Back to the
Yes.
Future podcast. We need to.
2 is more of like a
because they
connection
shot 2
movie
and
than
3
a
at the
movie,
same
but it's
time.
still fun.
Yeah.
It's 2's
Right?
good.
Yeah,
It's
2,
fun.
3
it's
was like they
depressing
shot
as
it
hell,
like
too.
Yeah, before everyone goes, oh, before there was Lord of the Rings, Back to the Future 2 and 3 shot consecutively.
Yeah.
Absolutely. They had a trailer for Back to the Future 3 after 2 when
Yeah.
it aired. Yeah, that's right.
Marketing.
Yeah.
Marketing. Yeah.
2 was big on special effects. 3 was more of a set piece movie. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I love 3. Ugh.
Yeah, but I was obsessed with Back to the Future as a kid. Like I painted the DeLorean on my
I
wall.
have drawings. I have drawings
Yeah, no,
of the
so, like,
DeLorean.
here's-
Back to
Sergio,
the
here's a
one
question.
that's shooting it straight up.
Here's a question: when you were a kid, did it piss you off as much as I did that there was like no merchandise for Back to the Future? Like it was so hard to find a car toy, or it was so hard to find like the kind of stuff I wanted as a kid. But now that we're older, it's like there's Back to the Future Lego sets and Back to the Future all this stuff all over the place, and it's like
And power
where-
laces.
Like, where
Nikes
was
and
this
shit.
stuff? Like,
Yeah.
where was this
I
stuff
gotta
when
be
I was a
honest.
kid?
I don't think I ever bothered to look for any of that stuff because I never
Yeah.
looked for movie stuff anyways. But but thinking back on it, you are right. Like
Yeah.
there was no.
It was scarce.
There was no merchandising, and
There's got to be a reason for that.
Well, the only thing that, and this is like totally me just guessing, but I want to say it's because like one, it was hard enough for Robert Zemeckis to sell the idea to make this movie to begin with, and it was like a lot of studios turned down the script. Like I want to say he wrote it in like 79 or 80, and it took him 5 years to sell the script.
Right.
And then I love the whole story behind the fact that like Michael J. Fox wasn't even the original like Marty.
Oh
McFly.
yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Like it was
a screen test for it.
Yeah, but it was the other actor who did Elephant Man. I can't remember his name right
Stoltz,
now.
Eric Stoltz.
Eric
Eric
Stoltz.
Stoltz.
They shot like a quarter or half of the movie.
They did with him, yeah.
With him in it, and then Robert Zemeckis wasn't happy, and they scratched all. And they basically told the actors, "Hey, we're gonna reshoot everything with Michael J. Fox."
Said the Elephant Man. It's Mask.
It is Mask. Yeah, Elephant Man was not Eric Stoltz. Not at all.
I mean, that's the modern day, or back for then, it was the modern day.
Well, everyone
That-
knows
that
that
like
famous
was.
scene in Mask where he goes, "I'm not an animal.
You know what?
I'm a man."
Remember when the Elephant Man was like smoking? I know it's a different mask.
Yes.
Wow.
Nevertheless,
That's a great one.
yeah. So they
good one.
basically
It's
shot.
great
They
universe.
shot it.
Side note: I desperately want a Doc Brown action figure now. That's all right.
Yeah.
I had a Transformer. It was like a white, almost like a Volkswagen Bug-looking one, but the doors opened up like the DeLorean doors.
Nice.
So that was like my equivalent to having
Yeah, so
a
that's what-
DeLorean
that's what you
toy. It was
used
just like,
as that.
this is Doc and Marty are in here. That's
Right,
just fine. I'll play with this. Like I can remember that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. All right.
Awesome.
So it's my turn.
Serge, I think
Yeah,
you're up,
it's my
man.
turn.
What's your question?
All right. So for me, the question would be, what is your favorite place in Chicago? While you guys think about what you want, it could be an establishment, it could be like a museum or a park or whatever, or it could just be like a sidewalk. Whatever you guys decide, your favorite place to be in Chicago. So for me, hands down, number one place that I love is the Art Institute, and you guys probably know this about me. I've talked about it before. Like I spend a lot of time going to the Art Institute. I've got a membership there. I love if anyone ever decides they want to get a membership there. It's a great membership. They have a great membership lounge with free coffee. Like I will go there. I'm probably there every Saturday or Sunday or every other Saturday or
Nice.
Sunday.
I'm going on Thursday for free.
Yeah, and it's just I love that museum so much because it's just got so much amazing art. The two things that I love, like one right off the bat is like the modern wing. I think it's phenomenal. They have the new contemporary exhibit, which is like the main, like it's always there. You walk in there.
Contemporary. It's always new.
Yeah, exactly. And actually, when you walk into the New Contemporary, they have their little write up on the wall that explains why they call it New Contemporary.
All right. For smartasses like me.
Yeah, for smartasses like you, which is basically they call it that because along the lines of I'm probably wrong in the specifics of how they explain it, but it's along the lines of. Contemporary always means new, but this is because it's the modern wing. They just got done developing it. This is the new wing that they created to house the contemporary exhibits. So you have on the second floor, you have the new contemporary wing, and then above that is the modern. The new modern wing, but they don't call it the new modern wing. But it's like you've got Picasso, you've got Andy Warhol, you've got Jeff Wall, which is an amazing photographer. But then in other wings of that museum, one of my favorite paintings is probably Nighthawk by Hopper, which is the one where it's like, and we've all seen it.
I love Nighthawk.
I'm going to try to describe it. It's like that painting of like a diner with like just three figures sitting at the diner, and then the bartender just kind of serving drinks, and we've all seen the parodies of it where like
The Hollywood
Boulevard,
the Live Fast,
and it's like you have so many like amazing paintings like just down the street from us, and it's just such a phenomenal museum that I will go there on any Saturday morning or even during the week if because I like freelancing right now. If I want to get out of the house, I'll just like put my laptop in my bag, head over there, sit in the members lounge for a couple hours and get some work done, and then like just walk around the museum because I love it so much. Oh, and my favorite thing to look at is Chagall's American Windows. Like just seeing those stained glass windows on the, I want to say it's the west side of the building. It's just so amazing to look at all that art, and it's right here in Chicago. So
That's Ferris Bueller and Sloan Peterson kissed.
yes, thank you. That's exactly what it is. Ferris Bueller and Sloan have their kiss in Ferris Bueller's Day Off. So with that being said,
And Cameron just stands there weird.
staring into the distance. So
What else
that
do you
being
do to
said,
Smiths?
Right?
Tony, what's your favorite place to go to in Chicago?
Oh, you just pointed at me, huh?
How do those bus treads feel like right now?
Right under.
Right on.
Very good.
I'm trying to. There's a lot of places that I love. I don't want to name a bar. I don't. You know what's always a good time? The Riverwalk. It's just nice down there. I like to drink. There's alcohol. There's usually some sort of live music going on. There's all sorts of good restaurants around. It's pretty central as far as walking to and from and getting to somewhere else. It's great for a walk after a big meal if you need to digest and you're not feeling well because you ate too much. Thanks, Sergio. Because last time I was there with him, that's what happened. I like the Riverwalk. I like it during the summer, and it's even nice down there during the winter sometimes. It's kind of fun to hang out. My wife loves it, so I like going down there with her.
There you go.
And it's good exercise, which I need. So yeah.
I will agree. I love everything that the city has done for that Riverwalk, and like every year it just seems to get better and better. They started that construction I think maybe 5 years ago, and in that 5 years, like all of those
They
little
did a lot in 5 years then.
Yeah, and it's like I've been fortunate enough to one of the agencies that I freelance at quite often is like right on State and Wacker, and they are like when I go into the office, my walk there is just like I will always like detour to go make sure that I'm walking down on Riverwalk there and back just because I love that. Like the scenery so much, like something about being close to water has always just been an
And I
amazing.
think that's what it
like,
is too.
drawing
It's
effect. So
It's not beachfront, but it's like
Yeah.
that similar kind of feel
Yeah.
to it, where it's
Yeah.
like, oh, there's boats in the water, and there's people around, and everyone's just enjoying themselves
Yeah.
and having fun. And
I'll admit, like, the summer experience is amazing because you have all these boats, like, just driving up, or not driving, floating up and down the river and parking up all in these bays, and it's pretty cool. But in the winter, it's just as amazing because, like, you get this frozen ice that's
none of
cracking.
that, and it's
and it's quiet and
cool, and,
desolate, and
yeah.
you can, like, walk, and you get, like, all of the shimmering lights off of the water that it's pretty epic. So even if you just go in the summertime, like do yourself a favor and pick like a winter day that's like tolerable, like at 32 degrees, and just go walk along the Riverwalk because it's pretty impressive even in the wintertime. So yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that statement 100%. JT?
Oh, you're just pointing at people.
yeah, how's it feel?
Oh gosh. What was I doing there? It was like not quite. It was not quite goofy. Gorge. But I don't know. So many places, so many years. I hate Chicago half the time. Love it half the time. I don't know. There's always a battle in my head whether I like or hate the city. But lately, I'm just gonna go with lately. My answer has been the Signature Lounge on the John Hancock Building,
nice.
the 95th floor, 6th floor, whatever. One of them is like the restaurant, and one of them is the cafe. That's higher up than the restaurant, so it's probably 96th floor, I want to say, or something. I forget if it's 94, 95, 95, 96, whatever. But anyway, I love going there. I've been doing it for like a year or two now, and that's like, I love places to just chill, draw, listen to music, drink coffee, and Yeah, well, I already said draw, but just sit there and do artwork.
Draw more?
Draw more. Let's just sit there and
JT likes to draw.
whether it's with somebody or not. Like I've just gone up there alone a whole bunch of times. It's like I love being high up.
And it's just a cafe that's just open. You can just take the elevator up there and get coffee.
Yeah, in the
Not
middle
even
of the day.
just open. It's been open for a while.
No, I've never been up there, and it sounds awesome.
I always go up there for like 2 hours, and I just leave my car because there's a lot of expensive ass parking garages around there, but there's tons and tons of meters that nobody goes to right by the MCA, the Museum.
I was
of
about to
Contemporary
say,
Art.
like, if you go east of Michigan Avenue, like down those streets, there's always like metered parking available because like most people are like not around that area. And like you said, it's metered. It's a pricier meter. What is it, like $4 an hour or $6 an hour or something like that?
Right.
But still,
but just 2 hours.
way cheaper than paying $30 for
some
like an
bullshit,
hour in like some valet place.
But it's like the park right out in front of the Museum of Contemporary Art, and you can just park there where that firehouse is and stuff. And like, and then just go right up one elevator ride. Your ears pop or whatever. And
I have to do that because honestly, I've been to the 95th. The Signature Lounge like once, but I never bothered to go to the cafe.
Yeah, it's
I'm
fun.
definitely gonna go check that out.
Yeah, that's the lounge part.
Let me know next time you go.
Yeah, no, for sure. Because it's like you just sit up there. It's so high. The view is so perfect, and like coffee's $6 or whatever. But like you'll always get a seat.
Is there espresso?
I think there is.
Is there macaroons?
I think there's like sandwiches.
Dude, oh god!
I never ate there because why?
Well, no, I'm just saying. Like, I'm ready to hear Bill's too. But like, you talked about this earlier. Like, after talking about these places, I want to go to those places. I want to go to the chalet. I want to do this. I want to go to the place in Pennsylvania. But like, I've never actually walked through the Art Institute. Just never have.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
I haven't. Don't look at me like Leonardo DiCaprio from freaking what's that Christopher Nolan movie? They turned his face into a meme. That's the face you just gave me.
Sorry.
No, but like I want to go there now, and now I want to go up to this cafe in the Hancock Building, and I might want to go to Bill's thing, but he's got really poor taste.
Isn't it great being in your 30s, like instead of your 20s? Because when you're in your 20s, you're like, "Where's the coolest hipster spot?" Like, "Oh, this place sucks now. There's douchebags hanging out there, or whatever." It's like everybody's always trying. I was never like this, but most people are always trying to.
Sounds like you know a lot about it.
I do because I hung around with those people. Everybody would always try. People still do this shit, and I'm just like, what are you, 24? It's like they're trying to one up you.
In my 20s, I was just trying to find out where my friends were.
So, I was at the Owl the other night. Oh, you still go there? That's not the place to go anymore. It's like, go fuck yourself. Nobody cares. Go to touristy stuff. Touristy stuff has great views. It's fun. It's great.
I like Navy Pier.
Exactly. I go there. It's fun as hell.
I walk up and down Navy Pier every once in a while just because it's like something to do.
I do too.
I was
just there. I saw
They
like
just
some
remodeled
Shakespeare
it,
in the park.
so it's kind of worth go check out the remodel.
Were you guys? Did any of you come with to that hoity-toity barbecue with all the all-star chefs? I put a guest list on for like 15 people.
What kind of life are you living? I was like,
Dude, this is years ago.
No,
This is like
we're not that hoity-toity.
6 years ago. Oh my god, dude! A bunch of people came. I had everyone on this list. It was hilarious. My Russian Standard rep. I was probably longer than 6 years ago. It was probably 8 years ago. The Russian Standard rep.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Were you there?
Yeah. All the free booze. And we got all the glasses.
We were super scummy. We'll talk about this another time. This is going to ramble on. This is like a 10-minute thing. All right, so you went to Navy Pier. Bill, favorite Chicago spot? What do you got?
This is tough. It's a great question. Okay, all right. This is
All right, Bill.
this is tough.
All right,
This
Bill.
is tough.
Bill, so, what's your favorite?
Well, I got to give a shout out first. This is not my answer, but I do have to give a shout out because it's a special place that has since closed down, from what I hear. It's called Encore. It's the Encore bar. It was in the theater district, and when me and my wife Megan used to we would go to shows in the theater district. Didn't matter what theater we were going to, we'd always go to Encore afterwards, and they had a nice circular bar where we'd get one for the road, so to speak, one for the ditch. And they had one of my favorite cocktails of all time, which was the Daily Double, which was a martini, two Tony, you'll get this. 2 parts vodka, 2 splashes of scotch, and 2 blue cheese olives. Daily double. Yeah, delicious. So that was a nice little place where we could go get a nightcap and call it a night after a good theater night out. But it no longer exists. So my favorite place, though, all time has to be Wrigley Field. For a couple different reasons. I would say, first and foremost, one of the first baseball games I can remember going to, my dad took me and my brothers to a game that was the Cubs versus the San Francisco Giants. And I remember this game because we were sitting way up in the nosebleed section. My dad called the Bob Uecker fan club section, which was where the pigeons were apparently. But it was great. And my brothers are very young. I'm not sure if they remember this, but Glenn Allen Hill played for the Cubs. He had a pinch hit. He was a pinch hitter. He had a pinch hit grand slam in that game, which is a rare thing if you know baseball. And Cubs won that game. It was pretty wild. My dad was high-fiving everybody up in the bleachers. Before the game, we had gone to Harry Carey's pub, and he brought me and my brothers in there.
That's awesome.
Nobody said anything. Nobody said anything.
Wait, how old are you guys? Well, what year?
I was way underage. I wasn't even a teenager, I don't think, at that
That's
point.
awesome.
Maybe I was a teenager. I'm not sure. My brothers definitely weren't. And he brought us in there, and we're there sipping our pops, and he's having a beer, and we're all in Harry Carey's. Nobody carded us. We're with our dad. We're fine. So we're all having fun. Me and my brothers are in the corner. My dad's at the bar. It was great. That makes him sound like a bad. He wasn't a bad father. He wasn't like neglecting us in the corner.
No, you weren't.
He was just bringing us into
Yeah.
Harry Carey's. Was your dad that cool? I don't know. Anyway, so that's one early memory. And then we fast forward to I've had a lot of good times at Wrigley Field, but recently, 2 years ago, the year the Cubs won the World Series, I should say, 2016, my wife took me to a game again. We sat in the right field bleachers. That's where our tickets were. We didn't sit there. What was really cool about it was we went there, and the bleachers were all filled, as the bleachers are. If you've ever been to Wrigley, they're bench seats, so there's no real seat number that you have.
First come, first serve.
You just kind of go sit, right? There might be numbers or whatever, but you go sit. Anyway, it was full. It was a really hot day. And I remember going like, we kind of looked at it and we went like, let's just post up right here. They have these little, fence kind of stand behind the bleachers, just beyond them, where we could stand and watch the game and kind of have a little more room. So we wound up doing that. And I remember just enjoying, nice hot day, cold beer, good
Urine
company.
smell.
Watching the Cubs. What was that?
Urine smell.
Urine smell? Right.
I haven't been there since '98. I
Yeah.
almost got kicked
I
out
was
for
going to
throwing-
say, I
for
haven't
throwing ice cubes at people.
urine there since 2002. I
Yeah.
think they got their situation.
Do you know what urine also smells like? Is victory.
Victory.
So,
this year,
yeah,
2017.
yeah, that's great. And
It's over, dude.
So this
Oh, I
is
know,
a
I know,
separate
I know.
podcast.
that's right. No, you're right. And then the
I got to
Sox.
say two places. Old Comiskey. That's my second answer.
No, that's great. You're right. And they made such a good playoff run this year. Anyway, so we can look. We're not here to argue north side, south side. I'm just saying.
You can't do
I
this
almost said
victory thing
Wrigley.
anymore. It's over.
I almost said Wrigley. Had plenty of good times there too, man.
Yeah.
Great field, good time. It keeps getting better. I don't know if you were there at all this year or not. It's awesome in there now. Things
Yeah.
are changing. They're building more things. They're making improvements. It's been a lot of fun. So yeah, good times there. And plus the neighborhood surrounding it.
Yeah, I love commercialization with all these.
Look, I'll give you guys Wrigley Field.
Profits
I'll give you
like
guys Wrigley
that.
Field for like warm feelings and like memories and stuff like that. I'm not going to begrudge you that stuff as like a Southside Sox fan or anything like that. That's great.
It sounds like, but
I love that. Yeah, no. I'll give you Wrigley Field. I will not give you Wrigleyville. figgity fuck Wrigleyville.
Oh, no, dude. There's plenty of good times I've had in Wrigleyville. Plenty. I'm not saying it's all fucking champagne and roses, but dude, I've definitely had good times there. Good times in bars there. Shitty bars there. Overcrowded bars there, but nonetheless, good times.
All right, Sluggers is okay, all right?
Well, as everybody
That's because they have
knows.
video games. That's why you like
Oh,
Sluggers.
they have dueling pianos.
Well, right. I mean,
never seen
everyone
those
You
knows.
saw dueling pianos
Nope.
there? Oh, you're supposed you like write down
Use the
requests on a
batting
little piece of
cages
paper, but I was
and,
really drunk and I drew a giant penis on one piece of paper and I gave it to the guy and he looked over at my table right at me and he was like, "What the fuck?" Like
you
he gave me
follow
the,
it
what
with
the
ist?
fuck?
Penis ist?
No, it was
No?
just penis.
Oh, all right.
Well, I mean, it's tough to beat 35th and Archer when you're talking about scenic places. So I just yes.
What are they? Is it
Let's
still,
go back to that victory thing.
All
is it still-
right,
is it
all
still,
right.
I'm
Look,
not-
we're
I'm not
fighting
trying to get
here.
asked.
There's no reason.
Is it still guaranteed rate field? Is that what it's
Oh,
being
it's
called
terrible.
right now?
Yeah.
I'm surprised somebody hasn't called it. I'm not even gonna say.
I-
Some people call it the
honestly-
G spot now. I've heard.
Really? That's
Yeah.
better than what I
That's
was.
gross. Well,
gonna say.
I think you're rhyming. I think I was gonna.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's bad. I've had good times at Sox. I just keep calling it Sox Park. That's all I'm ever gonna call it.
I always call it Comiskey. I still call it Comiskey. So I got nothing against.
You're good.
the
You're a
Sox.
Cubs-actual.
I got nothing. I'm a Cubs-actual, very much so.
Because he's
I got nothing.
Back on track,
gross.
guys.
Back on track. Don't direct this podcast. You're right, though. All right, look. So Wrigley Field's my favorite part. All right, we got to end it with really quick. Our fifth question is. Oh my gosh. Can you tell we paused midway through this one? This is the state of mind we're in right now. But our fifth question for the four of us here. Where's Joe Mano?
Bill, go ahead. You asked it.
Okay, so here's what I think happened. I think that Joe, on his way to work today, he ran into a beggar, and he pulled over because Joe's a nice guy. He pulled over, and the beggar was like, instead of asking for money, right? He was like, "Hey, man, can I get in your car?" And Joe was like, "No." At first, but then the beggar was like, "No, dude, like seriously, I'm a good guy. I'm just down in my luck. Let me get in your car." And Joe goes, "All right, hop in." So the guy takes shotgun, right? And they start driving, and the beggar's like, "Joe." I don't know why he knows his name already. He's like, "Joe, here's the deal. You got to take me downtown." And Joe's like, "I don't work downtown." And the beggar's like, "I don't give a shit, Joe. Take me downtown." And Joe's like, "All right." So he does a U-turn, right? And he takes him downtown, and the beggar's like, "Joe, I got to go to Navy Pier." So Joe drives him all the way down to Navy Pier, and they get there, and Joe, pulls over, and the guy's like, let's call him Bob, right? Bob's like, "Joe, you got to get out of the car with me." He's like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "I got to have you come down to the pier with me." Joe's like, "All right, fine." So Joe puts it in park, right?
Joe's very willing.
He illegally parks in front of Navy Pier where you're not supposed to park, right? And they both run all the way down to the end of the pier.
To the
All of a
end.
sudden, to the end of the pier, right? And then Bob's like, "Joe, look at that out there." And he points to the lake. And Joe's just like, "What am I looking at here, bum?" And then the bum just like pushes Joe in the water. And Joe is right now still out there, like floating around in Lake Michigan.
So this was today?
This was earlier
Well, that's
today.
why
He's
not
been
here right
treading
now.
water the whole
wait.
time.
So yesterday was
Joe's a really poor swimmer.
So yesterday when Joe said, "Hey, I'm not going to make it tomorrow night,"
Yeah.
he saw this coming.
He knew.
He clearly knew he was going to meet Bob.
He had a premonition of Bob the Bum pushing him in Lake Michigan today. And so Joe's right now still floating there. Like, they better not be doing a podcast right now. Because if they don't have people looking for me when I'm floating out here in this freezing cold water, oh man, I'm going to be so mad. And that's what he's doing right now, just kind of floating there. And doesn't have floaties. His arms are probably tired right now.
Poor Joe.
Probably.
Poor Joe, but that's where he is. I predict that Joe is not here tonight because he's currently lost and floating in Lake Michigan right now.
Yes.
Yeah. What do you think, Tony?
Oh, you don't do that to me. Go to sleep. All right. What do I think? I think Joe couldn't make it tonight because he was working late on a very important client that needed health insurance through State Farm, and that important client is pop singer turned actress Mandy Moore.
Wow.
Sergio?
No, come on.
I just
What
wanna
did
say
Mandy
that
Moore need?
There's no
what kind
way-
of coverage?
There is no way that your story is even remotely close to true because State Farm doesn't have health insurance.
Doesn't have hoe insurance? Is that what you
Health
Oh.
insurance.
I was like, man.
No, they don't have health
Mandy
insurance.
Moore,
They
eh?
only have car,
Did I say health?
home. Yeah, you said health. I could have swore you said health. Or I'm the asshole and got this all.
That would make sense.
That's right. My guess is that Joe got a new deep fryer and decided that he wanted to test it out in his backyard.
That could be accurate.
He's got a turkey and a ham, and Amanda was willing to help him prep the turkey and the ham so that they could do this deep fried turkey ham combo so that they could have a sandwich to eat tomorrow afternoon.
Nice.
That's my guess. New deep fryer turkey and ham combo. JT, what do you think he did?
Hiya, true believers. Amazing Spider-Man co-creator Stan Lee here. You know, there was a tale I told once about old Joe Munno. They called him the Uncanny Munno. One day, his girlfriend Amanda got kidnapped by the Green Goblin. He was flying around on his bat glider, jet-propelled, over to the George Washington Bridge, where he was going to throw Amanda off the bridge. And Joe showed up, and he's like, "Hey, Goblin, listen here. I'm gonna quote Seinfeld to you and tell you sports statistics until you get so bored that you'll just drop her." So he dropped her and he fell off his glider and hit his head off the concrete and got a concussion. And Joe saved the day. And that's why he couldn't be here tonight. Excelsior, true believer.
I like it.
Stan nailed it.
So, I mean, you can choose to believe whatever you want. One of them is true, though. I'll give you that.
One is true.
So,
One is true.
Tony, actually, do that. Take us out. Take us out like you took us in so eloquently.
What was it, WKPY?
Yeah. Sign us off.
I can't remember how I opened this podcast, so let's go XQYZZ for sleepy time. Go to bed, listeners. Until next time, chip chip bow wow for now. So long.
All right, well, that's going to do it for this episode. Thank you to Tony for taking us out in his sultry radio voice. That was pretty amazing there. We might have to do that for every single one. I'm not sure. But we hope you enjoyed us answering those questions. Maybe you learned a little bit more about us. Maybe you learned some things you didn't like about us. Who knows? It either brought you closer to us or pushed you further away. Either way, we hope you enjoyed tuning in. And thank you again for your listening and for all your support. We've got a couple sketches coming your way in the near future here in the next coming weeks. And, of course, we're going to pepper in a few podcasts here and there for your listening enjoyment. So if you have any answers, how about this? If you have any answers to the questions that we asked, all right, in this episode, let us know. Let us know some of your thoughts. You can do that, of course, by emailing us at podcast@kickarock.com. That's podcast@kickarock.com. This has been 2 Drink Minimum, where we've been drinking, thinking, and talking shop. Cheers, everybody.